Martin Truex Jr.'s retirement from NASCAR has created some problems for Joe Gibbs Racing, as they now have to find a new driver who can take the wheel of the number 19 car. There's been a lot of speculations as to who that might be. However, some believe that Chase Briscoe to Jgr is basically a done deal. A few weeks back, Earnhardt Racing announced that the 2024 season will be their final year in NASCAR. They also announced that they will be looking to sell all 4 of their charters. Naturally, this would mean that all of SHR's drivers will have to look elsewhere for a drive in the Cup Series. Out of the 4 SHR drivers, Chase Briscoe is probably the best of the lot. It would be a crime if he does not get a seat in NASCAR next year, but according to several experts and spotters, he's the number 1 choice for Joe Gibbs Racing. We're the number 1 choice for providing you with the latest news on NASCAR. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button for our channel and relax, we'll do the rest. The spotter for the 2311 racing team, Freddie Kraft, has stated that Briscoe to Jgr is inevitable, and an announcement is coming soon. I think everybody has seen the rumors that Chase Briscoe is going to the 19, Kraft said. I think you can expect to see an announcement on that within the next week or so. This was once again confirmed by his fellow spotter, Brett Griffin. You didn't see that coming 2 weeks ago, Griffin said, referring to the quick nature of Truex's retirement and subsequent conversations about who would replace Truex. I don't think they, Joe Gibbs Racing, wanted to start a rebuild, Kraft said. You've got a championship caliber team there. If not Briscoe, Jgr's options will be to bring in someone less experienced and much younger from the Xfinity Series. This may not be the right path, as Jgr is one of the biggest teams in the sport, along with Hendrick Motorsports. At the moment, HMS has 3 drivers making huge strides, and the other one looking to get a race win in the coming races. In order to compete with such a team, Jgr will need a driver lineup they can depend on to deliver results on a consistent basis. Besides, Jgr already has a combination of all age categories in their team. They have Denny Hamlin, at 43 years old, is a franchise driver and can deliver consistent results and race wins. Then there's Christopher Bell, who's 29 years old and is able to compete with Denny Hamlin and the HMS drivers for race wins. Finally, we have Ty Gibbs in the 3rd car, who is still learning at just 21 years old. Ty Gibbs is also the grandson of the team's owner, Joe Gibbs. Given the current squad, Chase Briscoe could be the perfect candidate to drive the 4th car for Jgr. In the past few years, he has proven that he's capable of delivering results on a consistent basis. He spent most of his professional racing career with Earnhardt Racing. With SHR, he has shown that he can be loyal and do his best with the car he's given. There's no doubt that he'll be able to perform more consistently if he's given the right car. With Joe Gibbs Racing, Chase Briscoe will have every opportunity to win the Cup Series championship. Jgr is only one of 2 teams to have 4 cars on the grid. This will give the team the ability to collect more data than the rest of the teams. After all, NASCAR is a data-based sport. The more data you have, the more insight you will get to develop the car. There are also reports flying around suggesting that NASCAR is looking to limit the total number of charters to 3. However, Joe Gibbs Racing and Hendrick Motorsports will be allowed to retain their 4 charters. In this case, these 2 teams will always have an advantage over the rest of the field. So if Chase Briscoe gets an offer from Jgr, he will most likely accept it. But there's just one thing. Speaking about his future earlier, Briscoe mentioned what he's looking for in his future team. It's definitely been, honestly, a confidence builder, I think, for me. Just the fact that multiple teams want me, Briscoe said this past weekend at Iowa Speedway. You know, when the whole thing went down 2.5 weeks ago, I was panicking that nobody was going to want me. To be able to have multiple offers on the table has been exciting from a confidence standpoint. I definitely think it's hard, though, because whatever happens in the future, I kind of determine my own destiny with that choice. That's been one of my first questions to teams is what do you think your culture is, and where do you think I fit into that, Briscoe said. So, I mean, that's a big thing. Just being at SHR for the last 7 years, I feel like their culture really fits my personality. And just how everybody is there and just the camaraderie everybody has. And I don't want to lose that. So just trying to figure out where I would fit in the best has been important to me. I feel like I'm pretty close to a 2025 deal, Briscoe said. I feel pretty good about it. There's a lot of different factors in the decision. Performance is one thing that definitely, in weighing the options, is something that is important. The future and what the future looks like. And then, obviously, the other part is what's going to be the best to provide for my family. With twins on the way, I'm going to have 3 kids. That's a real thought now, just what's going to set us up for the future in the best way. Briscoe wants to make sure that his future team is able to accommodate his needs and his family's needs. Not just in terms of money, but also in terms of work environment, work-life balance, etc. But given that JGR is a large team, this shouldn't be an issue. Although he didn't mention the name of the team, it is understood that Briscoe is talking about Jgr when he says that he's close to finalizing a deal. Former NASCAR driver Dale Earnhardt Jr. has also given his thoughts on Briscoe joining the team. I'm not sure. Chase Briscoe, I think, is a really good race car driver. And more often than not, since Kevin Harvick's peak, Chase has kind of been the car that runs the best and has the best position in points. Earnhardt Jr. said. So he's the more consistent producer at Stewart-Haas Racing. I think that the 19 car is a championship car, a top 5 car. Martin is a really good race car driver. So we'll see just how much of that he was doing to keep that car up front, right? Earnhardt Jr. said. When that car switches drivers and the performance changes for the better or worse, it acknowledges the ability of the previous driver, right? Either for the better or for worse, in public opinion at least. We'll find out what I think, and that's that Martin was very good. And when I went, I forget what was happening over at Hendrick. Maybe Mark Martin was leaving or Mark was going away. I was begging Rick Hendrick to hire Martin Truex Jr. to come there because I thought, man, Martin Truex Jr., me and him in the same building together, would have been awesome. And I thought Rick would have loved what Martin could do over there. So that's how much I think of the guy's ability. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s thought on the matter is that it will help if the driving styles of Briscoe and Martin Truex Jr. are similar. Since the car has been built around Martin Truex Jr.'s driving style, it may not react well if the driving style changes. Naturally, there are some scenarios where the car reacts better when there is a change in driving style. To get a confirmation on this, we have to wait for Briscoe to get into the number 19 car and drive it. There's no doubt that Briscoe will have very large shoes to fill. During his tenure with JGR, Martin Truex Jr. has proven to be a very strong racer who can deliver consistent results. Although he has not won a race this season yet, he sits in 5th place in the points table. He's the highest scoring driver among the drivers who are yet to win a race. So as long as there is not 16 race winners at the end of the regular season, Truex will most likely be able to qualify for the playoffs even if he does not win. But that will not be his mindset for the rest of the season. He'll be headed into every race determined to win it. JGR will now be expecting Briscoe to get into the number 19 car and start performing as soon as possible. It will be interesting to see the deal fall in place for Briscoe and JGR. Do you think Chase Briscoe will be able to succeed with Joe Gibbs Racing next year? Post your thoughts in the comment section below.